Everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Auntie Z. You're so welcome. If we've never met before, I'm your chief cheerleader at Shape Up African, encouraging us all to eat half African the healthy way, or to eat healthy the African way. Welcome to my channel, guys. Here I share lots of weight loss tips. I share a lot about African food and nutrition. I share my journey, my struggles trying to lose weight, being also a type 2 diabetes patient as well. So you're absolutely welcome. If you haven't done so before, make sure that you hit that subscribe button below. Hit the notification bell so that you get notified each time I come live like this, or each time I post a weight loss or healthy recipe video. So if you are here and you can hear me loud and clear, please let me know. Comment in the comment section. Let me know that you can hear me loud and clear, and so that I make sure that everything is working perfectly. Make sure to share this video on your social media platforms as well, because sharing is caring. Today, if you are looking for the reason why you are eating healthy, sometimes we say, oh, I'm doing all the right things. I'm eating fruits, I'm eating vegetables. Do you understand? I'm working out, but I'm still not losing weight. What's the problem? Let me tell you, first of all, I've been there, I've done that. I've been eating, you guys know that I love my healthy food. As a matter of fact, I really love fruits. I love vegetables because of the colors. They are so colorful, so inviting, so juicy, so sweet. Do you understand? Mother Nature's own, sugar, Mother Nature's own bonbon. So today it's all about fruits, guys. I want to address the reason why most of the time we eat fruits, and trying to lose weight, we do not lose weight. But first, if you haven't watched the video that we shared last week, or the live session last week, I talked about the top 10 vegetables to eat to lose weight and to manage type 2 diabetes. And you're going to realize that I talk a lot about type 2 diabetes because I'm a type 2 diabetes patient myself, recently diagnosed like 3 months ago for a second time, actually. So welcome everybody watching. Welcome to the show. Well, to this live session. No be sure I make. I'm not a speaker. It's not a speaker something. Anyways, last week we talked about vegetables that you should eat that are low on the glycemic index. We mentioned the fact that it is very important to consume carbohydrates. We also talked about the fact that carbohydrates are really found in all or almost all the foods that we eat. Do you understand? And carbohydrates are a source of energy for the human being. We need carbohydrates to function, for the brain to think properly. When you don't have brain fog all the time, you need carbohydrates for proper body function. Now, the problem is when you are, or if you have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, then there is a problem. The problem is that your body is either not producing insulin at all in the case of type 1 diabetes, or your body is producing insulin, but your body cannot, use it properly in the case of type 2 diabetes, which is my case, because of one reason or the other. And in another video, we're going to talk a lot about type diabetes in general. What is it? What are the causes and all of that? So we also mentioned that insulin is the hormone that helps, sugar or glucose in the body to be transported into the cells, to be either stored, for further use later, or to be stored as fat. So when insulin is not working properly and you consume carbohydrate foods or foods that contain carbohydrates in excess, then there is a problem, because you are going to have high blood sugar. There's going to be a lot of sugar in your blood. And we don't want that, because, the body has been designed to work in a certain way. Everything has to be working in a kind of range. There is a normal range. There is a norm for every single, metabolic a reaction that occurs in the body. That the metabolism of carbohydrates is a metabolic reaction as well. We don't want to enter into the biology. Auntie Z, come break this down for us. Break it down. So if your body is not using insulin properly, then there will be a lot of blood sugar in the blood. And in the long run, if that continues, you have high blood sugar for a very long period of time. This is not so good for your organs. You might develop eye problem. You might lose your eyesight. You might develop a problem that wounds are no longer going to be healing. The another problem you can also have is that your kidney might fail. That's why you're going to hear some people have kidney failure, maybe because they had high blood sugar over a couple of years. This is a process that takes years and years and years, and your body is fighting, to maintain a certain balance. And if you are not doing anything about it, in the long run, it's going to damage your organs. So it is important that if you have been diagnosed with diabetes, in this case type 2 diabetes, you want to make sure that you are getting number one, your source of carbohydrate is very important. You should not get carbohydrates from refined foods like, white flour, white pasta, white rice, all of those foods that have been, stripped off of their nutrients, especially fiber, which is a nutrient that helps slow down the release of sugar in the blood. So you want to make sure, number one, that the source of carbohydrate is is well chosen. And we mentioned last week or in the last live session that fruits and vegetables are a great place to get your carbohydrates from, because fruits and vegetables contain, good carbohydrates. We mentioned that carbohydrates are not just carbohydrates. They're made up of starch, they're made up of fiber. Do you understand? And fiber is found in fruits and vegetables a lot. It helps when you are a type 2 diabetic patient. So, if you haven't watched that video of the kind of vegetables that you should eat if you are a type 2 diabetes patient, or if you are even trying to lose weight, because as I mentioned, insulin being the fat storage hormone, if it's not working properly, what's going to happen is that your body will be just storing fat. It's not going to release the carbohydrates that have been stored in the body for energy for later use. This is very important. So this concerns you if you are trying to lose weight. If you want to lose weight, it's important that you select your carbohydrate source well, and it's also important that you know the quantity of carbohydrate that you are eating. It's important that you know the effect of the carbohydrate that you are eating in your body. We don't want to consume carbohydrates and then instead of our body, metabolizing it well, it instead spikes blood sugar. What that means is going to release blood sugar. So we want to talk about all of that today, and today we're talking especially about fruits. I don't know who is watching. If you can hear me loud and clear, please comment, ask questions. I can see the screen right now. I'm going to be answering. I'm not seeing any comments. I don't know if there's anybody hearing me or even watching. So today we want to talk about the important or the most important fruits. Well, not the most important fruits. Let me say the top 10 fruits, especially African fruits that are low in glycemic or low glycemic fruits. And what that means, I'm going to explain to you in a minute. So what is the glycemic index? We need to know what the glycemic index is all about and what is the glycemic load, and which fruits are low on the glycemic index. So a glycemic index is just a unit, that tells you how quickly foods that contain carbohydrates affect your blood sugar levels when you eat them by themselves. So to break that down to you, it's simple as this. If I eat this mango, this mango has a certain glycemic index, and the number that is associated with this mango, the glycemic index associated to this mango, gives you or informs you of how fast the carbohydrate that is in this mango is going to be released into your blood stream when I eat this mango on its own. We have already made it a fact that every fruit has carbohydrates. This one, mango, also has carbohydrates. Sometimes we feel that carbohydrate foods are only like rice, like bread, yams, plantains, and all of that. But fruits also have carbohydrates. Vegetables also have carbohydrates. We talked about that last week. So the glycemic index is the measure, okay? Take down these notes. Is the measure of how fast a food containing carbohydrates or the carbohydrate that is contained in this food is going to be released in your blood stream. How much blood sugar are you going to have when you consume a mango like this? This is what the glycemic index talks about. And the glycemic index is classified in scores. So some foods are going to spike your blood sugar very fast, meaning also that, or in other words, some foods are going to, the carbohydrates in some fruits are going to be released very fast. Meanwhile, the carbohydrates in some other fruits are going to be released slowly. What we want to take note of is that we should choose most fruits whose carbohydrates are released slowly in the body. Do you understand? So that, as we have said, carbohydrates that are released in the body are transformed into glucose, or what you know as sugar. So if you have a carbohydrate that is released slowly in the body, what's going to happen is that the glucose is also going to be released slowly in the body. Do you understand? And if glucose is released slowly, or the glucose or the sugar, those are interchangeable words. The glucose or the sugar that is being released from this mango into the bloodstream, if it's slower, then you're not going to have a very fast spike in blood glucose in the body, which is a good thing, because remember that your insulin, if you're type 1 diabetes, maybe your body does not even produce insulin. If you are type 2 diabetes, then your body maybe is producing some insulin, but it cannot work well. The cells cannot absorb the sugar or the glucose from the fruits or from the blood very well. So at the end of the day, bear in mind that what we are trying to do is not to have a lot of sugar in the blood at one particular point in time. That is the reason why, if you are a type 2 diabetes or a diabetes patient in general, they are going to always advise you not to eat a large meal at a time, because probability is that if you consume the larger meal you consume, the more carbohydrates you have in those meals, and the more your blood sugar is going to be in your blood. We don't want that situation. So this is the main key that we should take note of. We want to make sure that at every given point of time in our bodies, we don't have a lot of blood sugar just roaming around in the blood, because as we have said, it's going to hurt your organs in the long run. So we want to make sure that we are choosing fruits with a low glycemic index. What does that mean? A fruit with a low glycemic index says that this food, if I eat it, the carbohydrates in the food are going to be released very slowly. And so I don't need to worry much about a lot of blood sugar in my blood at any given specific time. Do you get? So if you are following, please comment value. If you are following, if you are understanding what I'm trying to explain to you, comment value, so that I know that we can proceed. Now, as I mentioned, the glycemic index is classified in scores. So you have low glycemic index foods, and in this case, low glycemic index fruits, which are fruits that have a glycemic index of 0 to 55. So they are classified using numbers. And then you have the medium glycemic foods, which are foods that have the value 56 to 69. Okay, and then you have the fruits that are high on the glycemic index, which are foods that have the value 70 and above. So if you are reading literature, for example, or you go to your medical doctor and he says that don't eat, let me say, for example, dates, okay, because the glycemic index is 78. Then you are going to immediately understand that what he is referring to is that food or that fruit, dates, are high on the glycemic index. It means that the carbohydrates in dates is going to release in your bloodstream very, very fast. The glucose is going to be released in your bloodstream very fast. And so it's going to very quickly spike your blood sugar and drop it immediately, which is not really, really good for the system. Okay? So now we have talked about the glycemic index. Let us proceed to another concept when it comes to fruits and blood sugar, which is called the glycemic load. I mentioned to you, just to give you a quick recap for those who are just joining in, that the glycemic index tells you or it informs you of how quickly, this is the key, how quickly a food containing carbohydrates will affect or release blood sugar or glucose in the body. But it doesn't tell you what quantity of mango should you eat. Do you understand? The glycemic index does not take into consideration the portion of the food, whether it is a fruit, whether it is a vegetable, whether it is a tuber, whatever. Since we are talking about fruits today, the glycemic index does not tell you the quantity. So it means that if I told you that the glycemic index of mango is, let me say, 70, for example, you're going to say, oh, then, or let me say a glycemic index of mango is like 50. Okay, then we are going to say, because low glycemic index foods are classified as 0 to 55, this mango is a low glycemic index food, so I can eat as I want. No, because don't do it. Don't do it. It is very you are going to be misled by the glycemic index. The glycemic index does not tell you how much mango you can eat to keep a stable blood sugar, or have stable blood sugar levels, a good healthy blood sugar level. So even though mango may be a low glycemic index fruit, it doesn't mean that you can eat 10 mangoes and it will not affect your blood sugar. Do you get? So it means that there has to be a different concept to be able to inform us, and especially diabetes patients, of how much of a food, be it a vegetable, a fruit, or a tuber, they can eat to still maintain a healthy blood sugar level. This is where the glycemic load comes in. It is another concept. It is, it is related to the glycemic index, but the only difference is that the glycemic load takes into consideration the amount of food that you should eat, the portion size, or let me say the serving size of each of these low glycemic foods that you should eat, which is recommended for you to eat to be able to maintain a healthy blood sugar level. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead now and show you, and before I get there, for those of you who are healthy, you might be asking yourself, what is the healthy blood sugar level? Okay, the blood sugar level, everybody has to have some amount of sugar in the blood. That's how we have been built. It is okay to have a certain amount of blood sugar in the blood. Which is this amount? The healthy level, they say, fasting blood sugar, which is the blood sugar level of your body when you have not eaten for up to like 8 hours. Say, for example, you slept at night, let me say at 10 p.m. and then you didn't eat anything until you woke up the next day, let me say at 8 p.m. If you measure your blood sugar at 8 a.m., sorry, in the next morning, let me say 8 hours after you slept, that's going to be your fasting blood sugar. So for a healthy person, your fasting blood sugar should be between 70 and 100 milligrams per deciliter in the blood. That's perfectly healthy. So this is the goal that even myself as a diabetic patient, I'm trying to get towards. But if you are already, or if you have already been diagnosed with diabetes, whatever the case, then there is a fasting blood sugar that you should have, okay? And they are saying that you should have a fasting blood sugar also of less than 100 milligrams per deciliter fasting, meaning that you have not eaten for the last 8 hours or more, okay? Now, the healthy person as well should have a fasting blood sugar of a fasting blood sugar of less than 100, or let me say 70 to 100 milligrams per deciliter just before you eat. When you eat, a healthy person should not have more than 140 milligrams per deciliter blood sugar 2 hours, maximum 2 hours after you have eaten. So I just wanted to mention this number so that we know what we are talking about. If you are a diabetes patient and you are measuring your blood sugar, all of that and so on, if you have not heard about this before, you should know this. For a diabetic patient, if you eat after meals, 2 hours after you eat, you should have a post-meal blood sugar of 180 milligrams per deciliter maximum, after 2 hours maximum, okay? If your blood sugar is beyond that, then you know that the foods that you have been eating has a lot of carbohydrates, or maybe they are high glycemic load foods or high glycemic index foods that you shouldn't be really eating. That's one probability. Or the other probability is that you are eating low glycemic foods but in a large quantity in one meal, such that even after 2 hours your blood sugar or your blood sugar, it cannot be regulated to below 180 milligrams per deciliter for the diabetic patient, or 140 milligrams per deciliter for the normal healthy human being. Okay, so I want to go ahead now and show you the foods that I want to share with you today, which are low on the glycemic load, because as I mentioned, we are going to stick with the glycemic load more because it is a concept that tells us a little bit more about the quantity of the food that you should be eating. So, for example, it's an orange, a one full orange low on the glycemic index or not? And if you stay with me, I'm going to do another video showing you the quantity and the portions of foods that you can eat. And also the glycemic load, just like the glycemic index, is also categorized. So if you have a food that is between 0 and 10, it is considered a low glycemic load food. Between 11 and 19 is considered a medium glycemic load food, and 20 and above is considered a high glycemic load food, which are the foods that you should avoid. Not to say don't eat them at all, but I really avoid them. Or there are some other things that you can do. We are going to talk about those in another video, of how you can eat those high glycemic load foods and still try to keep a kind of healthy balance in terms of your blood sugar. All right, without further ado, guys, let us go ahead and let me show you. I'm going to bring down my camera here to show you the setup as usual, like this. Okay, so as you can see on the table here, guys, I have a number of fruits that I want to share with you, and these are the common fruits that most of us eat. In Africa, of course, you will not have grapes. Also, yeah, there are grapes. What am I talking about? There are grapes in Africa, there are strawberries, there are blueberries, and all of that in the high-class supermarket, Abby. Anyways, I wanted to share with you the top 10 low glycemic load fruits that you can consume. First off, number one, you have limes. Most of you know limes, okay? Limes are the lowest in terms of glycemic load, with a glycemic load of just about 1. Okay, if you want to look at the glycemic index, is 24. So like we said, glycemic index 0 to 55 is low. Glycemic load 0 to 10 is still also low. So limes are the number one. You know, limes, you can use it in the morning. Lime water, lemon water, whatever. You can mix it with other fruits to get benefit from its vitamins. You all know how valuable citrus fruits are for the body. So you have limes, and then you have the second one, grapefruits. These ones are the pink grapefruits with a glycemic load of just 3. Okay, and as I said, in the next video, I'm going to show you all about the serving size, how much you can eat to still maintain a good blood sugar level. And then you have the lemons, all of these citrus fruits. Citrus fruits also have, lemons have a glycemic index of 25 and a glycemic load of 3, okay, which is telling you that is on the low side. Then what I don't have on the table here are guavas. We know guava in Cameroon, in Africa, Nigeria, they have a glycemic load of just 4. So that's an amazing fruit to eat as well if you are looking to just lose weight, or you are looking to manage your diabetes, okay? Weight loss is a very great idea to eat low glycemic index food as well, because there you are not having a lot of carbohydrates as well. You are going to notice that some of these foods are actually low in terms of carbohydrates as well. So after the guavas, we have the next one, oranges, which is also a citrus fruit rich in vitamin C and so many vitamins and minerals as well, with a glycemic load of 4, just 4 as well. That's also on the low side. Another daughter fruit to oranges, you have tangerines, mandarin, which I don't have on the table here as well, also with a glycemic load of 4. Then you have watermelon, my favorite fruit, guys. Watermelon, I love watermelons. Watermelons, what you're going to notice is that it actually has a high glycemic index but a low glycemic load. We are going to make a special video for that, and I'm going to explain to you how that comes about and why that is so. Wonderful fruit, watermelon, with a glycemic load of 4 as well. Okay, and then you're going to be surprised, coconuts, which are also considered as a fruit sometimes, has also a low glycemic load and the glycemic load of 6. Remember, 0 to 10 low glycemic load. And then next up, you have our pineapples here. Let me take that in front. Pineapple is also a great fruit. People are going to be surprised because you feel that when fruits are sweet, they are not good for diabetic patients. No, pineapple is also a very wonderful vitamin and mineral packed food that you can enjoy for a glycemic load of just 6. Okay, now next up, I have mangoes here. Mangoes are also very delicious. I just love a mango smoothie. Glycemic load of just 8. Okay, for those of you in Oyibo land, whereby you can have some apples, I even forgot to mention this. Apples have a glycemic load of 5, low on the glycemic index. You can do so much with that, smoothies and what have you. Now, on to the strawberries here. Strawberries actually have a glycemic load of, is it 1 or 3? I should think it's 1, 1, yes. A glycemic load of 1. I'm going to correct myself if I find out that that's wrong, but I I remember well, I think it should be 1. If it's not 1, it's 3. So strawberries. Then you have blueberries right here with a glycemic load, funny enough, higher than strawberries, glycemic load of 5. Okay. And next up, you have other oyibo fruits like kiwi. For those of you who know kiwi, that small green fruit with a glycemic load of just 4. And then you have the cantaloupe melon. This one is a honey melon with a glycemic load of 6. But the cantaloupe melon, the one that is, I think, like a pawpaw in it, with a glycemic load of 4 as well. Okay, glycemic load of 4. What else? Have I mentioned all the fruits here? Oh, sorry, bananas. Banana has a glycemic load of 10. Yes, glycemic load of 10. So it's still on the low end. Of course, let me say medium, low, medium. You know, so it's already telling of how much you can consume of the banana. So it's already on the going towards the medium side. But of course, 10 is still low on the glycemic index. So what else have I forgotten? Here I have pawpaw, but then you're going to be shocked to know that pawpaw is actually a high glycemic or a medium glycemic index fruit with a glycemic load of 17. This is actually high. I just wanted to show you so that you know most of the time you're going to see people eating 1 complete pawpaw, you know, thinking that it's healthy. Of course, pawpaw is healthy, you know, but when you are already having problems with your insulin, you don't want to eat a lot of pawpaw. Okay, and I can show you what kind of quantity you can eat to still manage pawpaw in your diet as a diabetic patient. Okay, so I think I have covered all the fruits on the table, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you have any questions so far for Auntie Z. So these are the fruits that you can eat as a diabetic patient, that are, it's not going to, all the carbohydrates in these fruits are going to be released really slowly in the bloodstream to your advantage, because it's not going to spike your blood sugar and just, you know, disorganize everything in your system. So long as your blood sugar is high up there, there is a problem. Okay, high blood sugar is not good. So this is it for this video. Stay tuned. I'm coming up again right now, let me say in about 5 to 10 minutes, and I want to show you the serving size, because like I mentioned, the glycemic load is all about taking into consideration the portion size or the serving size of the fruit that you can eat. So because watermelon is a low glycemic food or fruit, doesn't mean that you should eat all this full watermelon. You cannot eat a watermelon the size of your head. Do you understand? When you are trying to manage your diabetes, or even when you are just wanting to live healthy, anything in excess is always a problem to the metabolism. Fruits and vegetables are really good for you. They are packed with they're loaded with vitamins and minerals. They are great, but they also contain sugar. Even though they contain fructose, which is fruit sugar, it is still sugar, and sugar is still metabolized in the same way in the body. The only difference between the sugar from fruits and the sugar from, you know, sugary drinks and all of that is that these ones are natural. They come with more nutrients and all of that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, make sure that you comment below. If you have any fruits that you want to find out what the glycemic index or glycemic load is, comment below as well. Please tag your friends, share this video in your communities, on your social media platforms, on WhatsApp. Help spread the word, as this is going to help better the lives of so many people. This is Auntie Z, and if you have not done so already, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and join me live once again today in 10 minutes, as I'm going to be sharing with you the portion sizes of these fruits that you can consume to keep a healthy blood sugar level. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Mwah! Bye!